the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Once again, photo finish here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMerit at the line.
After a break for the V8 Scops Bathurst 1000, we return back to Mount Panorama. 150 kilometres of racing await us for round number 8 of the LeBLANC Australian Online Supercar Championship. My name is Jay Kennedy. Alongside me in the booth, Scott Fountain-Fonte. It's firstly great to be back to a little bit of normality after the massive weekend last weekend, but we're going to be in for a really, really interesting show with over 50 cars out on track tonight.
They were the smartest on the day and they managed to get the win. But yeah, what a great event we're going to have here tonight. I'm sure we're going to have some great racing. Good to see Richard Hampstead out here again tonight. Luke Harvey sitting there in P2. Harley Haber in P3 just jumped on with the Redback racing team. So hopefully things go well for him there. And yeah, no, I'm really excited for tonight, mate.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. It should be a really, really good race. We've got a fairly decent length race, 24 laps ahead for the drivers tonight. But before we get into qualifying and get some action from out on the circuit, let's get a little bit of a history and a bit of an understanding of what's happening in tonight's race with our weekly preview.
Round 8, and we're at Bathurst for the I Am a Mountain Man 150. 24 laps around this fantastic track. Let's have a look at the track facts for tonight's race. As I said, 24 laps around this 23-turn, 6.23 kilometre track. We've got an 84 litre fuel capacity, and with a fuel burn of around about 4.6 litres a lap, we've got a nice big pit window, opening at about lap 6 and closing at lap 18. Having a look at the previous winners, this is just for the 150s of course. Our first winner in Season 2 was Luke Harvey, who was driving for Evolution Racing Team back then. And in Season 3, Josh Rogers for TTL grabbed the victory. And last season, it was Marlon McMullen from Performance Sim Sport. We're joined today by Harley Haber of Redback Racing Team, who's going to give us a lap around this track. So as he comes to the end of his warm-up, let's jump on board and listen to what he has to say.
Hello and welcome on board the Redback Racing Team number 21 chassis, proudly driven by Harley Haber. I'm here to take you on board for a lap around Mount Panorama on iRacing. So come around the final turn now, getting a good run onto the main straight. Early shift, looking at for our brake marker now, about the 80 metre mark here, trail braking back to second gear, late apex, looking for really good straight line drive here. Really want to get a good exit out of turn 1, up mountain straight. Looking at your shift lights, making sure that you get them bang on, of course straight line. Speed is very important around Mount Panorama. As we crest the hill, we're looking to brake just at the 100 metre board, back down to third gear. Cracking the throttle open quite early to keep the mid-corner speed up into turn 2. Fortunately, the track drops a little bit away from you at the exit there, so be a bit careful of exit oversteer. Into the cutting now, down 2 gears, second gear, getting the car in really close to the wall. Once again focusing on straight line drive, short shift over the bump, up into Reed Park. It's all throttle control from here on in. Short shifting to 4th, good drive over the bumps. Into Metal Grate, just off throttle, no brake. Running it out to the fence, into McPhillamy now. Off throttle, early turn in, trying to get a good run out of McPhillamy into Skyline here. We should buzz it on the limiter for a little bit. Braking just basically on the crest, a lot of brake technique now into the dipper, good direction change, second gear, trying to get a good run down the hill now up to 3rd. Just touched the limiter just before this right-hander. Sacrificing a little bit of entry speed here into Forest Elbow, trying to get a good run out, down Conrod Straight. Once again, watching those shift lights, trying to get your shifts right on point, long straight. Draft is really important here as well if you are behind somebody, so be sure to be careful of that. But as we look down now, using the little asphalt apron on the left hand side, late apex into the chase, braking just before the 150 down to second gear, late apex here, really trying to get the run out, short shift into third gear, trying to get good drive into the final turn, make up a lot of time here. looking to break just at the dirty line at the end of that. Back down to second gear, late apex for the final turn and early throttle and across the line, and that's a lap of Mount Panorama.
Hello everybody and welcome back here to V8's Online. We're here at Bathurst again. We were here not even a week ago for the biggest event in sim racing in the AusNZ community, the V8 Scops Bathurst 1000. We had a very unsuspected winner at that event, and he's currently on screen now. His teammate is not here, however, but we're focusing on Ross Rizzo. He's sitting back down in 21st, which is a position which we wouldn't expect him to be there. There is still 15 minutes left in qualifying, so these drivers can, well, still do have plenty of time. The track will be getting hotter, so the car, in theory, will definitely be getting slower, so they want to be getting faster. Now, currently, we have Richard Hampstead sitting at the top. Just seen Brett Loxton actually go to P2. Luke Harvey sitting in P3. Harley Habert P4. Jordan Ross rounding out the 5. What do you reckon, Jay? It's going to be an exciting race. I reckon we're going to see controversy, and potentially we could see a new winner or someone that we wouldn't normally see at the top step of the podium.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're in for a pretty good show. It's going to be a really interesting night, and seeing how strategy plays out. Of course, do need to pit for fuel at some point. You are fuel restricted in this race. Pit window from around about lap 6 through to about lap 18. Of course, there will be more than likely a safety car throughout this race as well. So it's really interesting to see how the race plays out with that aspect. As we'll run through some of the championship standings as they are at the moment. On screen you can see the green windscreen banners for the championship leader in the non-endurance championship standings, which is Brett Loxton at the moment. Only 5 points ahead of Kyle Stokes is Brett Loxton at the moment. So Brett doing a very, very good job, being very, very consistent as he has been throughout the official Monday night V8 Supercar Series as well as this Series 2. So Brett definitely on a charge and one to watch in the next little while. The overall Drivers' Championship, though, at the moment led by Jordan Ross. You can see on screen in the background with the orange windscreen banners. Here's the man leading that charge at the moment. So he's done a very, very good job throughout this season as well. So good luck to Brett and also to Jordan as the championship progresses. Brett Loxton is currently second in that championship. We go next to the TTL Driver Academy championship standings, and at the moment leading that one as Jordan Ross is into the fence. We have Chris Robinson leading that championship, Bradley Ratu in second, Mitchell Bales in third. It's a fairly tight contest in that one as well. Of course, some cool prizes up for grabs from the TTL Driver Academy for that championship. And then we go to the Teams Championship lastly, which is currently being led by Redback Racing Team 1, Redback Racing Team 3 in second, with Zuva Racing, Watercraft Zuva Racing I should say, in third position. But all of these championships still very, very early. We're not quite at the halfway point in this championship. Next round in next weekend at Watkins Glen will be the halfway point in this championship. So still a little bit to go before we're fully settled on who's going to win this championship and how it's all going to play out.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Jay. It's yeah, an exciting championship. I think it's definitely turned up the notch a little bit in the way of the competition. Yeah, great to see some of these drivers going out there. You spoke about Brett Loxton. Seen some tremendous pace from him. We saw sort of midway through last official season, he had a bit of a bad run and was just getting tangled up in other people's stuff, but we've seen in this championship he's managed to keep it clean most of the time, and he's sitting on the top step of the podium at the moment. We aren't quite halfway, so anything can happen, but yeah, certainly a good position, and I know that he'll want to finish strong and take that out. He's been pretty close in the official V8 Supercar Series, so he'd love to stamp his name to this one, I'm sure.
100% right there. He's been very, very consistent and continuing to move forward. Jordan Ross, Brett Loxton, and probably Luke Harvey also in that category as well. Those three guys all really up and coming within this championship and the Monday night official championship. We saw Sam Blacklock, who's teamed up with Luke Harvey to do the endurance campaign in this season. Those guys have worked really well as a pair and did so on the weekend as well in V8 Scops. So It's going to be really interesting dynamic to see how these guys go a little bit more of a longer period of shorter races now, with already halfway through the endurance season, only 3 enduros to go. It's going to be really, really interesting before the race and before we get into the halfway or the later stages of the championship, and how all of these situations play out.
Yeah, you're exactly right, mate. And yeah, touching on Sam Blacklock, you know, he was a guy who was in the development series not that long ago, really. You know, it was only probably just over a year ago he was running the dev series and managed to claim that one, and then he's, you know, gone on from there, and to take out an official Monday night series is a massive achievement. There's been some big names in that in the past, but getting back to this championship, you know, you talked about the TTL Driver Academy. Such a great innovation from those guys to come on board and you know, offer their services, offer some prizes. They're a great bunch of guys over at TTL, and they certainly know what they're doing when it comes to steering a race car around the track. And yeah, this championship's really gone places, and I look forward to seeing how it goes the later half of this championship, and certainly moving on to next season as well. It's really exciting, mate.
Oh, 100%. It's going to be really, really cool. End of the season. We do head back to Bathurst later on in the championship as well. The final round is at Bathurst. Jordan Ross right off the circuit at McPhillamy Park. A driver that I'm a little bit surprised but very impressed that is up a little bit higher in the qualifying than we would normally expect, but is probably considered to be a bit of a Bathurst expert. Joe Burkett currently in 7th. Now, Burkett normally in these races would be, well, yeah, he's normally at a Ford to start with, but yeah, normally he finds himself, you know, around the 10 to 20 mark, but into the top 10 at the moment. He'll be very, very impressed, and some big names that he's ahead of at the moment: Brian Borg, Ross Rizzo, Griffin Gardner, Michael Taliancic, all of those guys that Burkett is ahead of at the moment. I'm pretty sure Burkett will be pretty happy with how he's going at the moment in regards to his pace tonight. Yeah,
you're exactly right, mate, and it's amazing. We saw him team up last at the Bathurst 1000 for V8 Scops with Cam Dance, one of our commentators here, and you know, closing towards the end of the race, they were lined up to get a podium. You know, I really thought that they were, and they kept their nose out of trouble. And yeah, we're seeing his pace here today is tremendous, and if we see what we saw last weekend from him, he's going to definitely be in the hunt for a podium. I think Richard's going to be hard to get on this track. He's very fast, but I know that Brett Loxton will certainly be taking it to him. Luke Harvey will be on there. Harley Haber, he's done a pretty good job, really, I must say, sitting in P4 at the moment. Hopefully he can keep his nose out of trouble and, you know, have a clean race, and I'm sure we'll see him right up there fighting for the race win as well.
Oh, just watching Jacob Knight, massive moment at middle grade and into the fence, so that is his qual run done on that lap, I should say. Is trying to find someone else on a flying lap. That's a huge moment, and very, very easy to do at that section of the circuit. Middle grade always catches drivers out.
Hampstead's lining up to do a lap.
Might jump on board, I think.
Yeah, there we go. He's been around for a very long time, even before I got into iRacing.
Before me as well. It's before my time.
So there we go, Richard Hampstead. He is the veteran when it comes to V8 supercar racing and iRacing. He's seen a lot go on within the community, and how much development it's had, and you know, it's changed a lot since when we first began. I'd hate to think how much it's changed since Richard's first began.
Still remember when he used to drive for the old Direct Clutch Services team way back in the day, and some bigger names that was in that team. Thinking back to the day, it's a big moment coming through Griffin's Bend. You think Anton Di Pasquale was in that team, I think 5 or 6 years ago, if you remember that, Fonty, before Anton was even looked at as a potential V8 supercar driver. He was driving with Richard Hampstead. Yeah,
well, exactly, and Richard, in his early day when I was certainly racing the V8 back in 2011, 2012, he was taking it to the best guys. You know, he was right there in the hunt against the likes of Scotty Mack, SVG, Justin Ruggier, Madison Down. When that championship was at its absolute peak and all of those guys were running, Richard was there or thereabouts. He didn't often win that many races back then, but he was always in that top 3, and you know, he's come and run this championship for the first time, and it's great for him to come on board with Redback Racing Team. I think that that partnership there between Redback and TTL has done wonders for Redback's performance. We've seen them go from being absolutely nowhere to taking out we've seen them get on the podium outside of Richard Hampstead, and yeah, it's absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, well, their performance in V8 Scops has also improved. We've seen their first ever win in V8 Scops, second split with a couple of rounds ago. I can't remember what round that was. There's so many things going on. Hampstead's looked very, very committed on this lap, using every bit of road plus more. His current best lap is 2:04.6. Tell you what, can't get much closer. He's 2/100ths of a second off his best lap on that one there. Almost identical times.
Yeah, and that just shows his skill of this. You know, he knows what he's doing. He's so consistent, and that's the hardest thing to be in one of these supercars. They're an absolute animal to drive. Got the pleasure of meeting him for the first time last weekend when we were at the Sydney Motorsport Park for the virtual sim racing showdown, which was a very cool experience for us, and we look forward to gaining on that. And yeah, Richard is certainly one of the drivers that's going to be a part of that, and absolutely loved it. And yeah, it's great to absolutely see him out here having a crack today. Yeah,
100%. And big announcement coming in the next couple of days around the next event in the VSR showdown, and I'm excited for the next one. It's going to be awesome knowing where it's going to be and what's going to be happening. Can't wait for the announcement, but I better not say too much because I might get in a bit of trouble if I accidentally make something slip out. We got Stevie Anson on screen. Yeah, no, I'll get in trouble. Get in a lot of trouble. Stevie Anson on screen. There's a driver as well that always seems to do well at Bathurst. He did a great job. Unfortunate end for these guys with teaming up with Craig Jones in the V8 Scops Bathurst 1000, but Steve always seems to do a really good job at Bathurst. He's a driver that's always very, very consistent, and right now doing a good job in the second half of the field as he has a massive moment coming through Sulman Park.
Yeah, exactly. This track is so unique. I absolutely love it, but it is an absolute beast to tame, and only the best go decent here. You've got absolutely no runoff coming up over the hill. We saw some tremendous accidents last weekend. This championship here doesn't have quite as many high profile drivers in it, so I'm sure we're going to see a few people make mistakes. But yeah, it's interesting. You know, you see people turn up at these events, and you know, we turn up at Bathurst and they're super fast, but they struggle to keep up at other tracks. It's interesting to know why that is.
Well, I think it's just the first thing you do when you get on iRacing, isn't it? If you're new to iRacing, the first thing you're going to do is buy the V8 supercar and buy Bathurst. So
yeah, you're exactly right.
The track that everyone in Australia and New Zealand does the most laps in, the combo that you do the most.
Yeah, you're exactly right. When I first joined, we didn't have Bathurst, and when it got announced that it was coming to the service, well, I tell you what, the whole community in the AusNZ region absolutely lit up, and we've seen great events come here, and we will see great events still to come in the future.
Yeah, 100%. There are no official Bathurst 1000 this year, but there will be a hosted one. So if you are wanting to race a Bathurst 1000, couldn't make it for V8 Scops, there will be one. Check out the iRacing forum. And the Major Series doing a great job. Going to put one on for everyone, and looking forward to maybe getting out there and having a trundle around myself.
There we go. Jay Kennedy's going to pull his wheel out.
I'll have to be in third or fourth split though, because I wouldn't be any good as Hampstead crosses the line and goes even faster. Wow. No, didn't count. Didn't count. He was 2/10 up on his best lap, and it did not count.
That's unfortunate. I think he's done a good enough job here though at this stage to have cleared that pole position. I don't know if anyone's going to get closer. Maybe Loxton. He might be having a crack. Loxton certainly can pull out some decent performance, and he's got to be happy with the P2 though at this stage in qualifying. I think the track would definitely be getting slower. So
yeah, well, since we've been watching the qualifying session, it's gone up nearly half a degree. So currently 27.8. It was 27.6 when we jumped into the session, or when we started covering the session, that is. So yeah, so definitely not ideal conditions to get quali going. And amazing the gap between Loxton and Harvey, and also Harley Haber, Jordan Ross, Thomas McMillan. Those guys are all really, really close. That top 6, 0.2 of a second or 0.3 of a second. The top 16 under a second. The entire field separated by only 2.7 seconds. 49 cars, 2.7 seconds. That's incredibly close.
Yeah, you're exactly right, mate. It is really, really close. For a championship like this, it was kind of, you know, it's a little bit more relaxed than what the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series is. And, you know, come race on Friday, have a bit of fun, and go away, and, you know, come back next Friday and do it all over again. But, yeah, to be separated by that little time on such a difficult and interesting circuit is, you know, well done to everybody out there today, and I hope that everyone enjoys themselves. That's the main thing. It's normally a big, long endurance race that we come here for, so it's a bit more of a sprint race today. I'm certainly looking forward to it. And talking about Bathurst, on Thursday next week we have our new partnership with the Flat Chat podcast. We have the debrief from that event. It's going to be really cool. Those guys do an excellent job over there. Got lots of things planned with them in the future, so make sure you jump on, check out their Facebook page at the Flat Chat Podcast. You can see them also on our website, and we will certainly be hosting that event on Thursday, so yeah, tune in for that.
Just on Richard Hampstead improve his time. Jordan Ross also has jumped up to P2. Brett Loxton did cross the line with a time that would have put him into P1, but he clipped the wall coming through the dipper, so he has lost that lap as we watch Luke Harvey try and come through and improve his time. Current best lap of a 2:04.7, and it looks like a few of these guys are starting to go quicker as this session is ending. Not many cars were on track for that last 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. We saw it at V8 Scops, the track get a lot slower. So, yeah, these guys, you know, maybe potentially haven't done much practice this week, so you're only going to get faster as you get more confident. It's coming over the hill, that's where you make your time. You've just got to really hold on for dear life and hope that it all goes together. Because
this schedule normally follows the iRacing official schedule, but not this week. The official schedule this week heads to Alton Park. We're not heading to Alton Park in this series because there's not enough pit stalls to store every single car out on the circuit, so that's why not go to Bathurst again. I don't mind going to Bathurst. We could have a series that's at Bathurst every week. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, you're exactly right, mate. And yeah, with
Harvey.
I just caught that as well. Big moment for him. So that's session over. I think he's got to be happy with his spot. P4, not a bad place to start. Got to be careful in that first lap. That's where it all happens, and you're really on. You know, you've got that foot ready on the brake to try and get around a car that's you know, made a mistake. Everyone's pressing on, so it's going to be an interesting start.
Starting grid up on screen. Richard Hampstead and Jordan Ross on the front row of the grid with Brett Loxton and Luke Harvey on row number 2. Harley Haber in his debut for Redback Racing Team in 5th position with Thomas McMillan in 6th. Joe Burkett and Jason Bentz on the 4th row of the grid. Not too much separating those top 8 cars. Then the next position on the grid, 9th, is Griffin Gardner with Ross Rizzo. He did get himself into the top 10 in the end. He gained 11 spots from when we first checked in with him.
Yeah, Ross got to be happy with that. Moving back to 11th, Daniel Williams. Not bad job from him. Kyle Stokes sitting in P12. Michael Taliancic, P13. A little bit further back than what I'd expect. I'd expect to see him maybe up another 5 spots in sort of that top 8 cars. Jacob Knight sitting P14. Philip Worley, 15th. Michael Hammond in P number 16. Brian Borg, 17th. Steve Janssen in 18th. Reese Keane, 19th. Bradley Rassu rounding out 20.
The session officially comes to an end. Jamie McKnight will start from 21st with David Kidman alongside Guy Leach in 23rd. 24th to Tom Curran for Redback Racing Team with Matt Morris and Dylan Shepherd. Congratulations to Dylan on winning the VSR Showdown. He'll start from 26 with Sean Thompson and Shane Evans on the next row. Top 30 rounded out by Stephen Varga and Luke Page. Lost Fonty for a sec there, I think so. I'll keep going. There he goes. He's back.
I've lost the.
I'll keep going. Kane Houston and Tyson McAvoy next with James Scott and Mitchell Bales on the next row. Jaden Borg, Henry King, 35th, 36th with 37th. David Baxter, Matthew Deere, Paul Mansell, and David Miller rounding out the 40. Then the rest of the field: Daryl Hockey, Gavin Cox, Daniel Misdale, Shane Rayner, Daniel Stevens, Matt Lepodevan, Brad Hugh, Warren Pickering, and last car on the grid, Ben Christensen. Under 3 seconds separate nearly 50 cars. That's an incredibly close field. And it's going to mean that we're going to have
I thought.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think it means that we're going to see some really, really tight racing when it comes around for lap number 2, 3, 4. When that pit window opens, some strategy is really going to have to be played out.
Yeah, you're exactly right, mate. This place is all about strategy. Those guys right at the back, you go back to the last turn, halfway up the hill, that's where they're starting, and yeah, any one of these guys could come through and do it. You know, we potentially could see a safety car, and you know, you just got to keep yourself out of trouble around this track. And you know, a lot of it can be a bit of luck at the same time when you're coming over that hill and somebody has a moment in front of you, and one of these 1.5 ton supercars, it's really hard to pull them up and move them around the track. So it's going to be an interesting race, but a great race at that.
Yep, 100% it will be. The 6.2 kilometre circuit, 149 kilometre race, 24 laps, red lights come on. We get ready to get round number 8 of the LeBLANC Australian Online Supercar Championship underway. Green flag flies. We have got underway, and a really, really good jump at the front from Richard Hampstead. Yeah,
Richard, he got a great start there. Good start from Jordan Ross too. He's moved up to second. Everyone getting through the first turn reasonably cleanly at this stage. Oh no, we haven't got a car.
Cars around.
There. Cars around. Oh, there's 2 cars off. So
big crash. Jamie McKnight upside down as well. I can see Michael Taliancic involved as well. Bradley Ratu as well.
Safety car, maybe.
Yeah, will be called at some point. This car's still coming together.
We've got a car blowing up there. That's a Ben Max car, so they will not be happy with that.
This car's still going around in the background too. So we are still green at this stage. I'm sure we will have a safety car at some point in the next little bit. So we've got cars stopped all up Mountain Straight. We're going to get a West End Mazda replay, try and pick up what exactly happened. I saw there was a couple of cars come together, push and shove. Ross Rizzo was involved as well. Something's happened to Rizzo. No, that's in the background there. Not 100% sure who was involved.
One of the redback cars was involved in that. It was
Bradley Ratu, possibly.
Yeah, potentially. So we've had the yellow call. That's the right call there. That was not the race start that we wanted to see there. It was just a
Steve Jansen and Bradley Ratu by the looks of it.
There we go.
We're under caution. We'll try and get some replays up on screen for you. Sorry, the overlay software is not liking the number of cars we have got out on the circuit. There you can see Ratu and Steve Jansen it was that come together. You can see Jamie McKnight absolutely flown across the circuit, and then as some of the cars have tried to rejoin, it's just created a big cluster of cars all together. And unfortunately, a few drivers that maybe were trying to get through a little bit too quick and started a bit of a chain reaction back in the field. Hampstead will be the most disappointed because he had broken away to a decent lead at that point too.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and that's what we spoke about just before it started. You know, it's a very intense first lap, and all you need is one person to make that mistake, and we just saw a huge accident from that. You know, and these guys who are fighting for the championship, it's not going to help their situation at all. We still do have 23 laps left in this race, so I'm sure a few of them will make their way back up the grid, but not the start that we wanted to see.
It was not Michael Taliancic, my apologies. It was David Kinman that was involved in that. So Kinman, also seeing Daniel Stevens has been involved. Daryl Hockey, Henry King, Griffin Gardner also has been dropped back through the field, but I don't believe was involved in that incident. So something else has happened to Griffin Gardner. Warren Pickering, Jamie McKnight, Guy Leach, Shane Evans also all out of the race. So a large number of cars that have been torn up, ripped and destroyed from... Well, they got through turn 1. That's the surprising thing. We actually got through turn 1. It was the run-up out and straight that had caused the issue.
Yeah, exactly. It's so disappointing. I'm just trying to go back and see what happened to Griffin Gardner at the start there.
So Griffin's all the way back in position number 43 at the moment. He's got a lot of damage to the right-hand side of his car. We'll see if we can pick up a replay and work out exactly what has happened to Griffin, because his car does not look overly healthy, and we'll see if we can pick up exactly. He's had some sort of incident up the mountain by the looks. Oh, he's been turned. The incident was said that Ross Rizzo was involved. There's been an incident at Griffin's Bend as well. Okay, so secondary incident here.
Yeah, so that's that's really difficult. Ross Rizzo, he wanted to obviously come back and have a good event, but these guys are too eager to try and win it on the first lap. You need to kind of, you know, just have a bit of a procession on the first lap and then start, once you're in the flow of things and things are sorted out, then really go for it. But you know, this is a championship for a lot of fun, and these guys come here to have fun and improve their skills as well. You know, we've got some not so confident drivers out there, although it was only separated by 3 seconds the whole field. We've seen a few mistakes there, a few amateur mistakes, I feel.
Yeah, 100%. I think a few guys will probably go back and have a look at this and go, well, what could I have done differently? And a lot of them will be going, a lot that I could have done differently. It was a fairly messy first lap, first 2 corners really, for a large portion of the field. So we are back under caution. So we now wait to go green. We will have the pits open on this lap, so there's be some drivers that will probably jump in and play a bit of strategy game right now. Well, we got this little moment. If you are a member of the iRacing community and want to have your say about the potential for the schedule for 2019, details are up on the iRacing forum, also on iRacing Down Under, Australian Sim Racing, and a few other Facebook groups. If you would like to have your say about what potential we will see in the iRacing schedule for 2019, as well as the V8 Scops, AOSC and official schedules, make sure you do jump on and have your say, because we'll help shape all of the schedules for the 2019 seasons. Looking forward to 2019 being an absolutely huge year in Australia and New Zealand sim racing.
You're exactly right, mate. Couldn't be any bigger, really. At this stage, it's yeah, sim racing has come such a long way since I've, you know, began, and you know, last weekend was a massive milestone for certainly for us and for the Aussie NZ iRacing community and sim racing as a whole. It's come such a long way, and I can't wait to see how next year goes. I know that, you know, me and you, we've got lots of things planned for, certainly for this championship and for V8 Scops, and it's come such a long way, and I look forward to seeing these drivers benefiting from it and their teams, and yeah, it's a very positive thing.
100% it is, and looking forward to, as I said, next year it's going to be a breakthrough year for the Oz NZ iRacing communities into the pits. We've got one car, it's one of the BenMax cars, I believe it's Philip Worley who's coming to the pits. Also got Michael Taliancic coming in, also have Guy Leach, Ross Rizzo coming in as well. We've got a BenMax car. They're also smoking one of the Stealth Simforce cars coming in, and Griffin Gardner also coming in his absolutely beaten up car. But a few guys will be using this opportunity to get a fresh car, get back out on circuit, and hopefully work their way back forward once again.
Yeah, you're exactly right. If you grab yourself a new set of wheels and you're going to have a clean car, and just hope that you're not really in the middle of the pack. I know that some of these slightly faster guys, they need to be patient coming through that first lap when we have a restart here. Obviously, we're not having a standing start. It's going to be single, will it be single line or
yeah, it looks like it will be a single file restart.
Yeah.
If it was a double file, they would have already started forming up double, so
yeah,
it'll be
so
single
that's
file.
probably the best thing for, certainly for this track with no runoff. But yeah, these faster guys a little bit further down the field, they just need to be patient for this first lap and let everything get through and then start picking them off. So let's see how they all get on.
One thing about the guys that have come in and got fresh cars, one thing it will do is they'll be able to short fill when it does come time for that pit stop. We said the pit window opens at lap 6. They'll be able to come in any time from then. Probably only have to put in 5, 6, 7 seconds of fuel
Yeah.
out of around about 5 litres a lap. So 15 litres should take about 5 seconds. So big difference in fuel if you can do that.
Yep.
You might be able to jump the
see
car you compete against.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to see Ross Rizzo pull up something magical. We saw it last weekend. He is sitting a little bit further down than he'd probably want, but yeah, exactly. Fuel strategy could come into play. Could we see somebody try and potentially make it home on this fuel and really just slow up? Don't know if that is the right call to make, but you know, you can throw it out there and try it. We saw it last weekend and it worked for somebody. So
we have a listen as we're on board, looking back from Richard Hampstead's car. Have a listen the whole way down the mountain on the clutch in neutral, saving as much fuel as possible. Probably won't put it into gear and turn the car back on until go through the chase.
Yeah, exactly. It's so important to save as much as you can, even in these
passing the pace
races. Yeah, I saw that on the last lap, him passing the pace car going down there. So he's really thinking about winning this race. He wants to win it, and he knows what he's doing. So, you know, stay on that clutch as long as you can. Save every milliliter that is possible, and it is every milliliter less that you need to put in come pit stop time. So I think we're going to see a great battle between, you know, those first 6 cars. Those guys know what they're doing. They're smart operators. I think they're going to be able to keep it clean and have a great race to the end. I just think that, yeah, potentially these guys in the middle pack, they just need to slow it down a little bit and just try and keep it clean, and then they're going to pick up positions, I think.
So as we get ready to get the green flag to get this race back underway once again, we will restart with 21 laps remaining. It's a very, very early safety car being called in this race due to 2 huge incidents. It's been a massive start to the race. So Hampstead now starts to close the field up, get ready to go. Once the pace car pulls in, he is under control and holding the field up to when he is ready to go. I'm going to say he'll wait right until the apex of the corner. I'm completely wrong, and away he goes.
There we go. Good little jump there. I don't think Jordan Ross was expecting him to go as early. He's already started to pull a gap. So Jordan Ross has pulled a huge gap from Loxton. Loxton was caught sleeping there, and Harvey's putting a lot of pressure on Loxton now. Yeah,
100%. I'm surprised at how much time Loxton lost. Luke Harvey timed it a lot better, and now Loxton is feeling a bit of pressure from behind for the potential podium spot.
Yeah, exactly, and I've actually seen Loxton. He does get caught out on the safety cars. We have seen it early on in this championship. So he needs to wake up there, but these guys all getting through cleanly now. Of looking further back in the field, everyone's going pretty easy. This single file restart has worked.
Harvey's actually dropped since the restart, since they got through Griffin's Bend, and Harley Haber's applying a lot of pressure, as well as McMillan. This is an intense battle here. Haber in his first AOSC race for Redback Racing Team is applying a lot of pressure on a season campaigner in Luke Harvey.
There we go. So Harley Haber, he's really getting amongst it here. We've got one of the All-Star Motorsports cars behind him of McMillan. So those boys are showing some pace. I can see here, it looks like a little bit of damage potentially on the front left of Harvey's car. Maybe
I think he hit it at the cutting. He definitely clipped the inside wall at the cutting. So
there we go.
Yeah, there's a little bit of damage there as Harvey, Haber and McMillan draft down Conrod Straight. Remembering that we could have a caution come at any point in this race as well. There is always a random safety car in these 150k races. That'll be playing into how a few guys play this strategy right now too.
Haber is putting a huge amount of pressure on Harvey. He's doing a tremendous job out there. So potentially this new formation, or him joining Redback, he races in real life, and he's not a bad little peddler. He's showing one of the guys who's in a very top team how it's done here.
Well, I just also heard that he's put in about 500 laps of practice this week with Chris Radicic in testing. Of course, Chris Radicic, part of Redback Racing Team, the brother of Paul Radicic, former V8 supercar driver. So there's a lot of testing that's been going on in that team, and definitely paying off.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You see him going over the hill there just before going down the dipper. He was super fast through there, and he's absolutely nailing the line. So he's got 19 laps left in this race to get it done. I don't think he's got the pace to take the win, but yeah, he's putting a lot of pressure on. Harvey's struggling actually, and also Loxton is locking up a lot. We saw him coming down Conrod Straight. He was super fast, but coming into the there we go, another one. Harvey, I tell you what, Haber wants to get past here. He is keeping it clean though, but he's saying, hey, get out of my way, son, I'm coming through.
I remember last season, I believe it was last season, Haber led the first few laps of this race in the 150k race, so Haber's definitely got pace at this circuit. But having pace is one thing. Being able to actually get past and having pace in the right spots is another. I'll tell you what, this is an intense battle. Apologies to everyone else in the field. We're going to stay with this because this is for what could be championship changing positions.
Exactly, mate. And we've seen Haber in previous rounds. You know, he can tend to get caught up and get a little bit frustrated with cars around track and have an incident. But you know, he's joined Redback and he's done plenty of laps this week. But doing plenty of laps by yourself is a completely different ball game to running with cars, and you've got a whole different ball game of, you know, front aero, rear aero, and yeah, how these tyres certainly wear out. So he is putting a lot of pressure. This battle is great. There we go. We've got McMillan looking.
The interesting thing too, you think back to the race at Daytona, there's no love lost between Harley Haber and his team and the All-Star team as well. So this is going to be interesting. Here comes Haber as Brett Loxton does the fastest lap of the race. Loxton's on a charge. There's contact between Haber and McMillan. A little bit of a push.
Oh, he's giving him a start. So this is where the blood starts to boil for these young guys, and they need to just keep their cool. We are going to see, this is leaving a gap to Harvey now.
Yeah, so, Harvey's broken away.
Yeah, he has. He's got a little bit of breathing space. We're going to see, here we go, McMillan's coming up the inside. He's going to throw it. Oh, Haber's going to close the door. He's going to close the door, and not a good place to good save, but not a good place to close the door there. It's so amber.
Not going to get a replay of that because we're going to go to the front. Have a look at the front three. Loxton is absolutely flying at the moment, and Hampstead has damage to the front of his car.
Here we go, Hampstead in trouble now. Loxton on fire. He's just done the fastest lap of the race. He wants to get this done. He wants to take that championship lead. Currently sitting in P2. He's so committed coming over the hill.
100%. He's looking really, really strong as we're on board with Jordan Ross, championship leader in the overall championship, and second place in the overall championship is Loxton, but he's also leading the non-endurance championship. So these guys are the front of the field, and of course Richard Hampstead won the first two standard sprint rounds. So these three guys are really the pace setters in this championship. They're going out as Hampstead gets a little bit of a gap coming out of Forest Elbow, and Loxton looks really strong now.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be a great battle. This is really, really cool to see. I think Loxton is in a great position here because he can potentially save that little bit of fuel being in P3 as long as Jordan Ross doesn't, you know, lose Hampstead in front and Loxton have to make up that time when he gets past. He's in the greatest position here. Harley Haber, however, he has dropped back. He's sitting back in P7 now.
Yeah, he's got Joe Burkett ahead, and we talked about Burkett in the early stages of this one. Burkett is really strong here, so he's going to be hard to pass for Harley Haber. Haber's going to have to start thinking strategy, and the ground that he's lost to McMillan is around about 2 seconds. So we go back to the front though.
There we go. So Haber, just having a car lock up there. I think Loxton's potentially struggling with those.
He's locking up a bit, but also Hampstead's having some big lock-ups as well. I saw the lap previous, not the last lap, but the lap before, he had a huge lock-up into the chase. So this front three, these guys are starting to break away. Luke Harvey is starting to look strong. The last lap round, Harvey was the fastest car on track, so we've got a true four-car battle.
Yeah, looking at that, just looking at the setup of those RRT cars, and Hampstead and Haber, both of them are struggling with the rear end. So the rear end is coming around on them. They were very strong in the first lap. Potentially Harvey's car is set up differently. Oh, look, here we go. No, there we go. Haber is caused an accident.
Oh, and, big crash.
Yeah, Burkett, that was a silly spot for him to do that. That was not the right spot to try and get past. So that is Burkett out of the race.
Wow, that's disastrous. And that is a place that you do not pass. It's truly single line. Anytime you try and throw a nose in there, always ends in tears for everybody. Somehow Haber's made it through, but that was a silly move. There's no way he should have been looking to make a move there. That's cost his race. Also Jason Bentz's race. So Burkett and Bentz both look like they are out of the race.
There we go. So, you know, and that's what I was talking about is, you know, these young guys, they come in here and they've got outright speed when they're by themselves on track, but as soon as you get cars around and things start to get intense, they start making silly moves, which is, you know, we've seen that from Haber in previous events to this. He's made one today. That's what he needs to improve on. He needs to improve and keep calm under these sort of conditions.
Now, one thing that will be playing in his favour is that he's now got a team around him that can help him strategise and keep a cool head. Fingers crossed that that does help him as we come around to start lap number 8.
Harvey
Hampstead.
is fast. Harvey is fast. He's coming through. Brexit.
Oh, Haber, massive moment as he come into the pits. Jacob Knight also in as well as Brian Borg. So pit window, as we know, is open now, and the safety car is out.
There we go. So those guys are going to benefit massively from this, who have just come into the pit lane. Haber needs to be by himself on track to really capitalise from this. Yeah, but they're going to have the most advantage out of anybody here.
Yeah, 100%. The safety car is out on the circuit, so these guys still have another lap to come around to get onto the back of the safety car. Now, I do know that there is occasions that these guys can receive a black flag from being in the pits at this point, so if there's no issues in that regard, they'll be okay. Now, interesting too, Jamie McKnight, who was involved in that lap 1 incident, was in the pits for 5.5 minutes. He's back out on circuit in his fresh car. He's still on the lead lap.
There we go. Absolutely love it. Jamie out there. He's a good guy. He's out here. He absolutely loves his sim racing. He's right behind it, and he's a massive supporter for us. And got to spend a bit of time with him last weekend, and he just wants to go out there and have fun. He's still on the lead lap, and he's I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see him make up some positions here by just keeping it clean and consistent.
We have got a few cars that have decided to end their race completely. Burkett has left the session. Bentz, Bradley Ratu, Griffin Gardner, Reese Keane, Michael Taliancic, Guy Leach, and Warren Pickering, as well as James Scott, all completely out of the race. Richard Hampstead saving fuel down the mountain. He's decided he better pick up the pace because they need to get onto the back of the safety car. The safety car isn't even out on the circuit where these guys are at the moment. Yeah,
there we go. So, yeah, it's a shame for Burkett. I thought that he certainly had, the pace to do well today, and he's come together with Haber. I'm interested to know what's going to happen after the event with that. I'm pretty sure race control will certainly be looking into that, and potentially Haber having a penalty for that. There we go. Yeah. So 8 laps into the race. It's been an eventful race so far, really. We've seen some great little battles there. Luke Harvey really started to show some pace towards the end there before that safety car. He struggled on the opening laps as the safety car came in and was under a lot of pressure, but looks to have found his feet again, and potentially he's under a run, and he's feeling relaxed in the car.
Awesome performance at the moment from Daniel Williams. He's doing a great job. Currently in P6. Obviously the strategy in regards to safety car and pitting has brought him up a little bit. Qualified in 11th, but he's doing a great job currently P6. I think that's a really, really good effort for him at the moment.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And that All-Star Motorsports, those guys over there, they got some great drivers on. Obviously, Dane Warren, he's an absolute beast when it comes to racing. The setup that he has to race on is probably the most basic out of really anybody out on track. And we see Dane Warren turn up there and take it to the best of the best. And Daniel Williams out there having a crack today. We haven't seen him this far up the grid, but he's got a good bunch of guys around him, and they're certainly helping develop him.
Of course, Daniel Williams now privateer, so he was with the All-Star Motorsport guys. Okay. So him and McMillan, former teammates, but I know they still do get along very well and chat quite a lot, as Daniel decided to go and do his own little thing. And also Sean Thompson doing a great job as well, currently in P8. Tyson McAvoy as well, another driver that's doing a really, really good job. Started in 32nd.
Staying out of trouble.
Currently in 9th. Yeah, staying out of trouble is the key. It's the key for Bathurst, isn't it? Buy your ticket to the end of the race.
Yep, it is. Yeah, they say it in the real event, and nothing is different here in sim racing, and that's what I said at the start. Keep it clean and consistent, and stay out of trouble, and you're going to find yourself right up there. I'm sure we've still got plenty of the race to go. One of these guys who is a bit further down could still come up. We've got Jamie McKnight, who was involved in the incident at the start. He is sitting P19 right now. He certainly, his outright pace, I think that he could be up with this current grid of those guys who are up there. He could be sitting easily in the top 5, I would think, or top 8 cars, I would think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you could move forward a little bit. As we said, we've still got about 45 odd cars in this race as well, so still a massive field of drivers out there. Very, very tough. Tough
you're
field
exactly
out there.
right.
It's a tough gig to actually finish these races, and while this is a little bit more of a less serious series, the guys go out there and want to win and want to try and prove themselves every single time.
You're exactly right. To have that many cars racing around a track like this is, it's pretty serious, and you got a lot of weight around this track. A lot of these V8 supercars going around there, and what a great series this is, and what a great track. And every round these guys improve, and we see new people coming to the table, and certainly new members signing up to iRacing, which is absolutely great to see. And this is one series which is a kind of a development platform for the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series, along with the Oceanic Sim Racing Development Series, their Wednesday night series. It's such a strong community here for V8 Supercar Racing, and it's only going from strength to strength every single week.
So we'll see who jumps into the pits this time by.
I think we'll see
pretty much everyone in.
Pretty much everyone. If you're not pulling in now, I don't think you're making the right call, but hey, don't take it from me. I said last weekend that Ross Rizzo made the wrong call, not going into the pits and waiting later. Obviously, slightly different race, this one being a short one versus the 1000, but anything can happen. I don't think we're going to see another safety car from this point unless there is a really big accident, and in that case, potentially those guys may take advantage of that. But we are seeing everybody coming in to the pit lane. Not one single person stayed out there. So
yeah, we got one.
There
17 car, that is Shane Evans. He is a lap down though, so, and also staying out, Ross Rizzo. That's interesting.
There we go. So Ross Rizzo, he proved me wrong last week on the weekend. Is he going to prove me wrong today? If he does, I tell you what, I'm going to go and get him in contact with one of these.
He hasn't come out ahead though, because have a look at who has come out ahead. Jordan Ross has come out of the pits just ahead of Ross Rizzo. Looks like Luke Harvey will also be ahead, and so it's Ross, Jordan Ross, Ross Rizzo, Luke Harvey. As Rizzo does give up the spot to Luke Harvey. McMillan in 4th, and Richard Hampstead's come out in 5th. So Hampstead's got that damage fix, but he's lost a lot of ground.
Yeah, that's interesting actually. So I'm wondering if Rizzo potentially thinks he can make it home on that fuel that he's got. I don't think so, but maybe that's an interesting call to make. I really am confident in saying I don't think it's the right call to make in a race like this, but yeah, let's just wait and see what happens.
Of course, 15 laps to go, so he's going to have to push it to 19 laps. Of course, there's a fair chunk of those under the caution period, so there is a chance, but I don't know how huge a possibility that will be as we're under our second caution. We will get the green flag this time around.
There we go. So, yep, anything can happen, and it always does around Bathurst. We
expect the unexpected is the only thing you can expect.
Oh, exactly. We could see it absolutely get turned on its head, which is what we saw last weekend. We saw our championship leader, Jared Filsell and Josh Rogers, who is arguably the Aussie Z community's best driver. He's taking it to the world's best in the Championship Grand Prix series, and we potentially could see that today if we do happen to see another safety car, which potentially Rizzo is maybe banking on. Then he will definitely be in within a chance.
Yeah, 100%. And, so a lot of drivers that I'm really looking forward to watching throughout this series in 2019 as well. There's going to be so many cars and so many drivers that really look to move up the field, and the front, probably 8 guys in this race at the moment are guys that are ones to watch. Of course, we've got the experienced guys, and we've also got the up-and-coming guys as well.
Yeah, well, the up-and-coming guys, Jacob Knight, Kyle Stokes, those guys, we saw them really get amongst it in the Split 2 race at one of the earlier rounds for the Scops events, and yeah, those guys, I think that they've improved hugely. They're currently sitting in P13, P14, and both with great teams. We've got We've got Kyle Stokes there with Synergy Sim Racing, Jacob Knight with the up-and-coming Redback Racing Team. 12 months ago, Redback Racing Team weren't even on your radar when it comes to V8 Supercar racing, and now they're right there.
Yeah, 100%. It's great to see all different teams coming up through the field and working their way forward. So Jordan Ross now leads his pit stop time 10.7 seconds, Luke Harvey 11.2, but Richard Hampstead 3 seconds lost in the pits. That's an extra, what, 9 litres of fuel. That could be the difference. Jordan Ross and also Brett Loxton. Loxton actually a long stop, but Jordan Ross maybe is trying to risk it with the fuel. This front 3-4 guys maybe are trying to risk it a little bit. Hampstead and Loxton look like they're the two that are safe on fuel.
Yeah, so there we go. Potentially Hampstead.
Fuel checking up in the background.
Yeah, there we go. So
ready to go.
There we go. Ross absolutely backed them up. We saw Hampstead really go for it early, but Ross has decided to go late, and he's got the jump though. But Harvey's under a lot of pressure there from Ross Rizzo.
Oh, Hampstead, big move.
Hampstead, big move up the inside. He's managed to get
contact between and McMillan. Good save from McMillan though.
Oh, wow, that was an excellent save there. Jumping on the gas, well done to McMillan. That was a very ambitious move from Hampstead. He's trying to get this job done very early. He wants to not let that gap go because he knows that Jordan Ross is super fast and he wants to stay with him. Oh, there we go. We got McMillan in the background there.
Yeah, McMillan and Matt Morris. And Morris is up into 6 as Dylan Shepherd gets shuffled wide coming through Griffin's bed. Too wide the whole way through the field, but going to stay with this because McMillan and Matt Morris. Daniel Williams also in this, Dylan Shepherd, and Sean Thompson as well, rounding out the top 10. This is an intense battle. Actually, we're going to go up a little bit further because have a look at Luke Harvey's Richard Hampstead almost into the wall.
Oh, I tell you what, this is really turning it on, this race, and we're seeing plenty of action further back in the field, though. Everyone getting through cleanly at this stage. Yeah. Oh, there's some super close battles out here on track, I tell you what. Tell you what, one person who is doing super well, Dylan Shepherd. He doesn't really race the supercar too often, but sitting in P9, he's sitting in a good spot early at this stage in the race.
100%, he's looking really strong at the moment.
Oh, there we go, looking further up though. Sorry, Jay, to jump in there. We've got Matt Morris there, Daniel Williams.
Yeah, Thomas McMillan almost bump drafting down Conrad Straight. So this is 4th, 6th, 7th and 8th position side by side coming into the chase.
There we go. Oh, wow, there we go, too wide. And he managed to hold it on. That Velocity Sim Racing car. There we go, side by side again. He's come off the track. Oh, he's going to lose the spot this time, potentially. Oh, there we go.
Contact Daniel Williams around. Oh, this is going to be huge.
This is the exact incident that we saw in the real V8 Supercars between, who was it, Tanner and McLaughlin?
Yep.
Many years ago. That was the exact same incident.
That was a huge moment. Matt Morris has done a good job, and I'll tell you what, Dylan Shepherd needs a change of underpants. He had the best seat in the house. Somehow got through. We get the Western Mazda replay up at the moment. Matt Morris is just on the throttle. He just got a little bit of understeer over the crest. Daniel Williams did a great job to not make contact into the fence. We're going to get another replay on board with Dylan Shepherd because Shep would have been had an absolute brown pants moment there.
Yeah, exactly. This is the track for them. And looking further back too, Jay, there's serious racing going on here in P number 12, Stephen Varga. And that battle right there is super intense. We've got 10 cars there all trying to fight for this track.
Yeah, intense. Just behind you can see Matt Morris trying to make his way back through, not able to do so. He's tucked in behind Luke Page. Morris with a huge amount of damage, somehow pushing on. Also got Harley Haber and Kyle Stokes going at it too. McMillan's dropped a huge chunk of time after that incident. He's not going to be able to hold on to the back. But the front 5 have broken away. And Rizzo, Hampstead, Loxton for the last spot on the podium. This is intense.
There we go. This is certainly intense. And Bathurst turns it on every single time we come here. We are now halfway through the race. And we've had such an exciting first half of the race. I can't wait to see what the second half brings.
Yeah, 100%. We'll see how this all plays out with 13 or 12 and a half laps to go. Jordan Ross leads Luke Harvey as we're on board with Ross Rizzo in 3rd. Coming into the chase, huge braking needed into this amazing section of circuit. Second last corner always catches drivers off, as we just saw Matt Morris have that big moment. And Rizzo may not have the outright pace in comparison to these other guys in the top 5, but he definitely has the smarts.
Yeah, he certainly does, and we don't know his fuel situation, but I reckon Hampstead's going to try. He's looking now. Loxton, oh, big lock up there from Harvey. Great run out of turn 1 for Rizzo, but I reckon that Hampstead is going to try and line him up coming up here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there'll potentially be a move happen into Griffin's Bend.
Oh,
here we go, right on cue. No, he pulls back out.
There we go. Yeah, it wasn't quite close enough, so he didn't get the run that Rizzo had got. I'm surprised. I'm not too sure what the wind factor is at the moment, but yeah, not quite the draft that we would have expected up the hill there. Loxton's sitting back there, a little bit of a gap, better run out of there for Hampstead.
Southeasterly wind will mean that it's blowing down Conrod Straight and up Mountain Straight, so you're headwind heading up the mountain. So the draft should be a bigger factor up Mountain Straight than down Conrod.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so potentially just not a good a run for those guys, but looking at Harley Haber, he's currently sitting in P9. He's looking quite racy here, certainly a little bit faster than Sean Thompson.
Go back to Rizzo and Hampstead, because have a look at these guys go at it now. They're right nose to tail. Hampstead might have a look here at first. Salvo! Big late lunch.
Oh, I tell you what, that shows. Rizzo was long. Look,
Rizzo on the
was
wall.
looking in his mirror though, because he knew he was coming. He gave him space, but yeah, very ambitious move there for Hampstead. They managed to get through there cleanly, and that just shows the experience of these front guys when it comes to, you know, racing each other and giving each other room. But Rizzo is he's going to try and throw it here. But was Loxton going to look super late on the brakes there for Hampstead? Hampstead knows what he's doing, but Loxton is not going to let him go. This is giving every opportunity for Ross and Harvey, though, to break away. Harvey putting huge amounts of pressure on Jordan Ross as they now start lap number 14. Jacob Knight looking super racy there with Kyle Stokes.
I must say Daniel Williams is doing a good job despite getting involved in that incident. His car actually looks really second-hand, but he's come out and just fighting for a top 10 as well. As we're going to go back up the field because the lead, this is on, pressure is building. Jordan Ross versus Luke Harvey. This is going to come down to the wire, and this is going to go all the way to the end. Yeah,
well, these guys, they're very quick drivers. They're young guys. They haven't been around for a huge amount of time. Probably Jordan Ross a little bit longer than Harvey, but yeah, super fast and super clean as well. And you know, they race each other on a regular basis, so they know how each other drive and they know that they're going to keep it clean. But the person in P2 there needs to outsmart that guy in P1 and really, you know, get a better draft, potentially get him down Conrod Straight into the braking zone.
Dylan Shepherd also starting to come under a bit of pressure from Harley Haber. Haber starting to close that gap, but these front 5 are where we need to keep our eye on. In saying that too, Thomas McMillan is starting to make inroads into these guys. Last lap around was the fastest car out on track, so we can't discount the 248 car out of this. We're going to have a 6-car battle to go with, say, 5 laps to go. This is going to be insane.
Yeah, there we go. So McMillan, he's got a... he is pretty close. He's maybe just out of the draft range. That car looking super fast out on track now. He doesn't have any damage, so he's potentially got a slightly faster car than the ones in front of him. Certainly is pulling in Ross Rizzo. Ross Rizzo potentially having to save that little bit of fuel. A bit further back though, we've got Harley Haber. He's made the move on Dylan Shepherd, so Haber is pretty quick out there on track. His last lap was the 3rd fastest lap on track, so no, second fastest out on track there. So Haber, when he can be by himself, he's super fast. He just needs to improve that racecraft and not getting too much of a hot head. But if he manages to do that, I'll tell you what, that kid's going to be super fast.
Yep, he's definitely going to be one to watch in the coming months and years if he can get that racecraft going.
There we go, looking back here, Jay. Varga, this battle between Varga and Borg.
Yeah, so Varga's got through on Brian Borg on this lap as well. So Stephen Varga now into 14th position as Brian Borg looking to come back.
Oh, there we go.
At the cutting. You can't go too wide, boys.
Oh,
this doesn't work. A little bit of contact.
Oh, a little bit of contact there. So, yeah, very difficult position. If you're in something like a Skip Barber, yeah, you can race. But here we go, Brian Borg. He's going to put pressure on here. He's right on that rear tail of him. He's not going to be able to get past through here. So he's going to need to wait and hold on. Get him down into Murray's. He's looking. He's putting the pressure on. He's trying to make a mistake. 10 laps to go now. Oh, I tell you what, I absolutely love these cars coming through down the bottom through the cutting there. You really got to commit yourself and just trust that the car's going to pull through there. Brian Borg, he's going to have a better run, I think. Is he going to be able to get it done though?
Got side by side coming into the chase. Sorry to cut you off there, Fonty.
No, you're right, mate.
Got Jacob Knight through on Sean Thompson. So Knight into 9th. Thompson back to 10th. I'm pretty sure Sean Thompson will be over the moon with a potential 10th position. We go back to this battle pack. Oh, who's that on the dirt there? It's Kane Hewson. We've also got Luke Page involved in this too. Side by side into the chase. Still, Kane Hewson's going to get a spot even after being on the grass coming into the chase.
Yeah, well, it's turning it on everywhere, and it's certainly turning it on right up at the front here. This battle right for this race win is not over. Loxton is putting huge amounts of pressure on Hampstead.
One thing as well, McMillan may have burnt his tyres up because his pace has dropped right off now.
He's dropped a whole second since we last spoke about him.
Yep. One thing about the newest iRacing build, the new regulations in the V8 Supercar and iRacing, is the tyre wear is a lot more extreme from what we've seen in the past. I think Rizzo might also be done possibly now into fuel conservation mode. He just does not look as committed and as intense as he did only a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, you're exactly right, mate. We saw him not pit. We saw him not going to pit, so he's got older tyres than everybody else out there on track. So he's definitely going to be struggling, not only for fuel, but for tyres as well. Looking back at this battle, P13 here, Jay, and this pack back here, these guys having a crack out there, keeping it reasonably clean, not as smooth coming over the hill as what the cars further up.
Borg, nearly at the fence.
Yeah, there we go, Brian Borg. He's under a bit of pressure. Stephen Varga's broken away though from him.
He has. He's done a really good job. And Jaden Borg and Michael Hammond, Matt Morris, all on the back of this train as Brian Borg has a massive slide coming out of the dipper.
Yeah, I tell you what, these track conditions today.
Oh, Houston in the fence.
There we go. So cars in the fence all over the place, and yeah, it really is started trouble, and keep it off the fence. You're going to do it right. We haven't seen any major incidents in the last few laps, but we certainly did early on, as we're going to see. Oh, here we go. Borg under a lot of pressure, and Luke
Borg's
Page
car's not looking good.
No, Luke Page is looking to make a move. Brian Borg he's trying to hold these guys up. Look at this.
Page.
Look at this train of cars. Here we go on the outside.
Borg through.
Try and go
Hammond through.
There we go. Good job there from Hammond.
Yeah, just took advantage of the opening that come from Jaden Borg, and looks like Matt Morris also looking to make a move. Morris has dropped a long way from where we saw him earlier. He was fighting for 6th position. Now finds himself back in 20th. At the front though, it is on.
Oh,
Have a look at this. Harvey
under pressure. Hampstead, he's looking. He knows that he can't get it over the hill though, but he's going to put every bit of pressure on Harvey. Harvey looks to go all right coming up over the mountain. Potentially made a mistake. But, these guys at the front, it just shows the experience and the skill these guys have to the guys a little bit further down. Just that little bit more confident coming over that super fast section, and you know, Harvey's really got that setup going well in that TTR car tonight.
Yeah, he's looking fairly strong. What this has done, there obviously was a little bit of a mistake. I'm going to catch coming out of Hell Corner, or out of Griffin's Bend because Hampstead was right on there at the cutting. Jordan Ross has used this to his advantage, just broken away. Now got nearly a full second on Luke Harvey, but that will all close up with his tailwind down Conrod Straight. See if we can pick up the top speed for these guys coming down the hill.
Yeah, not as
291.
much, there we go, 291. So Hampstead putting a lot of pressure on these boys. Oh, a bit of a moment there from Harvey, and I reckon Hampstead's going to take advantage from this. Get him coming into the last turn. He has the run now. Harvey is going to cover, but Hampstead's going to try and throw it up there anyway. I think Harvey's going to have to renege. There's going to be contact. I could see that coming from a mile back. That was a little bit ambitious from Hampstead, but Harvey was slowing him up, and that's one person you don't want to try and slow up is Hampstead, and Harvey is lost out from that. So that's going to promote Loxton into P3. Now Loxton has every opportunity here. We said that he needs to try and get a good result here to extend that championship lead for him, and he's going to apply every bit of pressure he can to Hampstead. Ross Rizzo sitting back there in 4th. We don't know his fuel situation, but certainly he can't go any further back from here. Harley Haber is 5.5 seconds up the road, so he can relax from there. He's just got to worry about these guys in front, and potentially he's going to hope that these guys are going to potentially come together.
Jordan Ross would have been loving seeing that in his rear vision mirror now because he's got 2 seconds to Hampstead. Jordan Ross did the fastest lap last lap by, the only driver in the 2:05 bracket. Everyone else 2:06 and slower. Oh, yeah, Hampstead, massive moment up over Metal Grade.
Yeah, there we go. So the tyres are wearing out at this point in the race. We've still got 7 laps to go. And Ross Rizzo, he's actually looking pretty good at this stage. I tell you what, Jordan Ross, he'll be breathing quite comfortably at this stage. He can, just one mistake's going to end it for him. So we know how fast and good he is. This may be the gap that he needs to just extend it out. They're certainly not in the draft range at this point. So these guys are going to have to work together to catch back up to Ross.
I'm just going to go back a little bit in the 10. The last 2 spots in the top 10, we've got Sean Thompson and Daniel Williams.
Yep,
these guys are really close. Williams looks really strong, even with that damage.
Yeah, there we go. So Williams is he's going all right, considering he's got this damage. It's Sean Thompson. He's in a good position. We normally wouldn't see him this further up the grid. So
he'll be over the moon at the moment.
Oh, he will be. Yeah. He just needs to keep it cool, calm, and collected. And he is doing a good job here. I think Williams, he will be struggling with that front bonnet missing. But these guys, they still need to be able to work together. And this battle of 3 here could potentially catch up to that car in front of them.
Yeah, Dylan Shepard, they're doing a very good job. Harley Haber now has to defend as well.
Here we go. Harvey. Watch Loxton on Hampstead.
Yeah, he's got the run.
He's going to do it. Or no, maybe he's not. Maybe he's just going to sit behind him. Because
wait for the last lap.
Trying to save that fuel. He knows potentially at this point that he's not going to be able to catch Jordan Ross, and he's just going to sit there and wait for that last little bit, save those tyres, make that move on the last lap, and hope he gets a decent run coming out of Murray's and pop Hampstead coming down into the chase.
6 laps to go, 5.5 laps around this amazing Mount Panorama circuit as Hampstead just kissed the wall. Coming into McPhillamy Park, the top of the mountain, the highest point on the circuit. Big, huge, long run down into the dipper. Hampstead is now 2.1 seconds behind Jordan Ross. So Ross is really doing everything right at the moment. Hampstead versus Loxton. And even Ross Rizzo is not out of this. So we go back a little bit because Harley Haber is feeling a bit of pressure from Luke Harvey, but Harvey does not look anywhere near as confident as he did about 3 laps ago.
Yeah, exactly right. He's potentially, the cars, obviously the tyres are wearing out, and he's raced a little bit with Haber, so potentially he's being a little bit cautious. And we have seen Harvey. I don't think he's in a direct championship hunt, but he's certainly turned up and raced at a few events. So he wants to, he'll want to get this move done. And I don't think these guys are going to catch up Rizzo.
Have a look at Shepard slowed quite a lot. He's got pressure from Sean Thompson and Daniel Williams. These last few spots in the top 10 are on.
There we go. So, yeah, there we go.
Shep,
So
I think he's short on fuel because he's the shortest pit stop.
There we go. So he is short on fuel. I think the strongest one out of these guys would certainly be Daniel Williams at this stage. Sean Thompson, he's running a P9. Oh, there we go.
Shep, massive lock up at Hell Corner. He's going to feel the pressure from behind.
He's going to lose this.
And Daniel Williams might go 2 for 1 here because he had a really great run coming out of Hell Corner. Side by side go Thompson and Shepard.
We may go 3 wide. We may go 3 wide. I reckon what we're going to see here is we're going to see Williams maybe fire it up on the inside because Thompson's going to try and stick around the outside. He's not in a good spot though. See, here we go. He's lost out from it. That was a great thinking there from Williams, and he's gained a spot from it. Well done to Dylan Shepard.
And well done to Sean Thompson for not putting it in the fence there because that 100%. Is really easy to do. Going to go back to the field because we have a change of position. Richard Hampstead is now back in 4th. What has happened to Hampstead?
Oh, we've got to get a replay on that. We've got to get a replay on that. He's made a mistake somewhere.
Turn 1.
There we go. Turn 1. He's running there too deep. We completely missed that, so sorry about that. But there we go. So
no, it's actually further back. So
the veteran of the
okay, he's had a slow down at the chase. He's had a
Okay.
slow down at the chase. He's cut the chase too aggressively.
Okay, so now he's going to need to get back past Rizzo, which Rizzo will not make it easy for Hampstead. We saw Hampstead, he put a lot of pressure on Harvey and they came together.
Dylan Shepard just nearly clipped the wall coming out of Forest Elbow. And now we'll have a really compromised run down Conrad Straight. Tailwind will be helping. But Kyle Stokes is now riding this. It possibly could steal a top 10.
There we go. So Kyle Stokes, he's coming. He's an up-and-coming driver. His car looks to be in reasonable shape. He is missing the left front guard. Certainly a little bit better than what Williams' car is. Oh, I tell you what, Jay, excellent battles throughout this race, and you know, it's a little bit different to what you'd normally see in, like, you know, the V8 Scops Bathurst 1000, where it's such a long race. This is a sprint race, really, and you know, you don't have many laps to do it in. Looking back up at this battle here, though, Harvey and Haber.
Haber defending.
Yeah, he is. So these two young guys, they are both young guys, and here we go. Oh. Wow, I tell you what, Harvey super lucky there. Such a difficult corner. We saw Sean Thompson manage to just save it. We saw Harvey just manage to save it now. Haber is not going to make it easy for Harvey to get past.
No, you're right. It's not going to be an easy pass at all. The front of the field, Jordan Ross has broken out 3 seconds from Loxton, but Ross Rizzo is feeling pressure from behind with Richard Hampstead. He's got a little bit of damage to his car still. Harley Haber and Luke Harvey 5th and 6th. Jacob Knight all out there on his own as we go back to this battle. 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. Shepard, Williams, Thompson and Stokes. Have a look at Sean Thompson as Kyle Stokes has actually got through. We've missed that.
There we go. So Kyle Stokes, I said it coming down into the chase. He has the least amount of damage out of all of them out there. And yeah, he's managed to get that job done. Tell you what though, Dylan Shepard at this stage in the race, we've got 4 laps to go. I hope he comes and has a chat with us afterwards because, yeah, he's doing a tremendous effort. He doesn't really race these cars. Actually looking at Hampstead now. Hampstead on Rizzo. He's going to try and pop him here. Here he goes. Rizzo's going to cover.
Good job, Ross Rizzo, from defending there.
Yeah, there we go. You know, these guys, Hampstead is excellent on the brakes all of the time. And Rizzo just kept up with him there. And I tell you what, Hampstead, he's looking all over the place. Oh, he's going to even try and go around the outside.
Oh, no. Don't do that.
There we go. So, Ross Rizzo, our V8 Scops 2018 Bathurst 1000. He's under pressure from Hampstead, and Hampstead's going to get the job done. Oh, there we go. Oh. Big moment there from Rizzo onto 2 wheels. So, I tell you what, Hampstead is driving a very aggressive race today.
Yeah, he is. He's wanting that win. Of course, he was starting on pole. As we go back to this battle, again, Dylan Shepard, Daniel Williams, now Kyle Stokes in 10th, Sean Thompson in 11th. We'll stay with these guys for a little bit because this is an intense battle. We know that Shepard is probably a little bit short on fuel. 3 laps to go. He'll know exactly the number he needs. Need about 15 litres of fuel in the tank at this point to get it home. If you've got less than that, then you've got to think about how you save that little dash of fuel.
Yeah, there we go. So I reckon that Kyle Stokes, he's going to want to try and take advantage of this. Car in front of him of Daniel Williams is suffering damage as he's had a big moment out of the cutting there, and he's going to look, but yeah, you can't do it here. We saw an incident between Haber and Burkett early on in this race. Oh, super close to the wall there for Williams. These guys having an excellent battle here, keeping it reasonably clean. Although them battling is only opening up that gap to Dylan Shepherd. So
Shepard's now got away again.
Yeah, he's in a good spot. We don't know how much fuel he's got left, though. We know that he definitely will be saving. He was the shortest stop out of all of them. But these guys battling behind. I think that they're going to probably catch him up. Looking a little bit further up, though. Harvey still managing to stick with Haber. I think that he is... Oh, so look at Rizzo. Rizzo has dropped right off there.
Yeah, I think Rizzo's short on fuel. Here comes Kyle Stokes. Sorry, Stokes is going to get the move done. And through on Daniel Williams. Williams might lose two here.
Or maybe... Oh, Sean Thompson looking very racy there behind. And yeah, definitely the strongest out of those guys is Kyle Stokes. He's got Shepherd just a little bit up the road. Shepherd doing a tremendous job. We don't see him turn up and race this V8 Supercar very often. He's very dominant in the GT stuff when he races it. Won last weekend at the Virtual Sim Racing Showdown in Sydney. Got himself a Formula 4 test out of it. Great to see him out here on track tonight.
Ross Rizzo is now under pressure from Harley Haber and Luke Harvey. Harley Haber, Luke Harvey have both been really, really quick in the last little while. Now, of course, we know Rizzo's saving a little bit too.
Yeah, so there we go. Rizzo, he went up on two wheels with that contact with Hampstead, so potentially a little bit of suspension damage. When you're running around a track like this, as soon as you get a knock on the car, it's so hard to, you know, have confidence in it coming over these fast parts of the track where we're seeing him now. And, you know, just lifting off that little bit is giving these guys behind him every advantage to catch up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It doesn't take much when you're trying to fuel save and in fuel conservation mode to allow the cars behind catch up. Luke Harvey, though, he's wanting to get back. He's not going to be happy if he finishes this race in 6th. He'll want to get himself back up into where he deserves to be. He's not going to be able to get up to 3rd, but he deserves to be up there in those lead positions because he has looked really strong all race.
Oh, you're exactly right. And yeah, these two young guys, they're going to go at it. Hopefully they can race hard to the end. I don't know if we're going to see it, though. They're putting a lot of pressure on Rizzo. I know that Rizzo will, he's an excellent driver, and he'll certainly try and defend as best as he can. Haber, oh, big moment there for Haber, and this is going to leave the gap open to Harvey. No, Harvey's going to pull back in. So we are now on the last lap, Jay. Last lap of the race.
Wow, it's flown.
It has flown by, and this is going to be on. Let's stay with these guys because this is where the battle is. We can look a little bit further back to Sean Thompson and that bunch later, but these guys here is where it is at. Oh, actually looking back.
Is that Jordan Ross?
Yes.
That's Jordan Ross. He was leading the race. He's stopped at turn 1. What has happened to Jordan Ross?
He's run out of fuel.
Has he run out of fuel or has he blown it up, dropping it back through the gears?
Oh my God. So this has promoted Loxton to the win.
He's blown up.
Oh my gosh. That is unbelievable.
Wow.
That is unbelievable. So this battle that we are currently focused on between Rizzo, Haber and Harvey is just open right up for them to get on the podium. This is on. I tell you what, Rizzo, let's hope he's got enough fuel to manage to do it. He's going to be under a huge amount of pressure coming down Conrod Straight into the chase.
Wow, that is game-changing. So Rizzo, Haber and Harvey are now fighting for a podium spot. You would not have thought that 3 or 4 laps ago.
No, you wouldn't have. And I tell you what, this is going to be intense coming down here. Oh, these guys, they're hard races. Oh, actually,
Luke Harvey's just hit the wall.
Harvey has clipped the wall. That is race done for Harvey. So this is up to Haber to try and get the run out of there. I tell you what, Harvey will be absolutely kicking himself out of there. He was probably thinking too much about trying to get that run out of Murray's. Ross Rizzo has had an excellent run out, 0.3 of a second, separating these two cars. Has Haber got it in him to make that move? I'm going to jump on board with him now and see if he's going to do it. Rizzo's going to cover. Haber's going to go to the outside. He's going to
do it.
Oh no, he's not, because Rizzo, he's going to lead on him. I'll tell you what, excellent driving from this young guy.
Brett Loxton, congratulations. Picks up the win at Bathurst.
Oh,
Going to stay with his Hempstead. Oh, there's contact! Haber did come down. Rizzo will hold on. Haber will come across the line in 4th position. Luke Harvey finishes in 5th. Wow, what a race. They're going to go back to this battle pack between Dylan Shepherd.
Oh, there's a car around behind though. That's Jacob Knight.
Oh no, Knight hasn't crossed the finish line either. He's going to have to reverse across the line. Just comes across. He doesn't lose a spot to Kyle Stokes. Or does he? No, he actually crossed the line 6,000ths of a second ahead of Kyle Stokes.
Wow. I just saw as Haber come across as Harvey come across the line, the car in the background looping it. What a race. I tell you what, Jordan Ross will be so gutted. He had that race in the bag. He was on the last lap and he's nipped it down a bit too early. The motor said, sorry mate, not today, we're done.
Jacob Knight is the luckiest man out on the circuit. Number 1, to not have any contact with anyone. Number 2, to actually get it across the line.
That made me laugh. That made me laugh. I tell you what, that is awesome. I hope somebody out there in the community who's watching today can make a meme for us.
We do love a good meme.
We do love a good meme every now and then. We see lots of them in the V8's Online AusNZ community chat, our Discord channel. Do come and join it if you want to have some entertainment. Tell you what though, well done to Brett Loxton. You know, he kept it clean there. He was gifted the race there though.
He didn't deserve the win, but he just kept it out of trouble. And I tell you what, this has changed the championship, because Loxton now will likely lead the championship overall, with that happening to our former championship leader in Jordan Ross.
There we go. So those two guys are in the hunt. This is Loxton's kind of campaign, is keep it clean, keep it out of trouble, don't blow motors, and you're going to win. He is absolutely stoked, lighting up the tyres there, giving us a bit of a show.
Go to our race results with Brett Loxton picking up the win, 3 seconds in the end ahead of Richard Hampstead in second. Surprising for him with the amount of incidents that he ended up involved in, clipping the wall numerous times. He's got it home in second. Ross Rizzo, good job from him to somehow steal a 3rd position away. We didn't think he could do it. Harley Haber in 4th, but that will be talked about post-race, no doubt. Luke Harvey finishes in 5th position. Jacob Knight, have a look at that gap between he and Kyle Stokes. 6,000ths of a second separating those two cars.
Wow.
As Knight drove it backwards across the line to cross the line in 6th position. Dylan Shepherd, well done to him. Finishes in 8th position. Honestly. A guy that does not drive the V8 supercar ever has got himself home in 8th. Well done. Daniel Williams and Sean Thompson too. Well done, boys, to you guys. Top 10s, you both will be over the moon with that.
Tell you what, those that top 10 there from, you know, Dylan Shepherd, Daniel Williams, Sean Thompson, well done from me. You guys drove a great race. It was an excellent battle. We certainly loved covering it, and yeah, continue that racing on. Back in 11th though, Tyson McAvoy. Not a bad race from him. Stephen Varga, we saw early on in the race an incident with him, so he's moved his way back up to 12th. Jaden Borg will finish in 13th. Tom Curran, 14th. Kane Hewson in 15th. Jamie McKnight, he spent 5 minutes in the pit lane at the start of the race because of getting involved in that lap 1 incident. He's managed to make his way back up to 16th. Mitchell Bales in 17th. Steve Jansen, P18. Luke Page in 19th. Paul Mansell rounding out 20.
Here we got Brad Hugh in 21st with Gavin Cox in 22nd. I actually got Shane Rayner in 20th and Paul Mansell in 23rd. But either way, it doesn't think it really matters.
I think mine are wrong. Sorry,
Ben Christensen in 24th position with Philip Worley, Daniel Stevens, Brian Borg and Matt Lepedevan, the last drivers to finish the race. 2 cars did DNF on the final lap of the race, that being Jordan Ross and David Kidman. Also, it looks like Daniel Misdale may have as well, but we've got a huge list of drivers that did not finish or finish laps down. Misdale, Deere, Miller, Baxter, McMillan. Unfortunate for him, he was looking pretty strong there at one point in looking for a podium, but he has finished 6 laps down. We've also got Michael Hammond, Matt Morris, Daryl Hockey, Shane Evans, Henry King, Burkett, Bentz, Ratu, Gardner, Keane, Taliancic, Leach, Pickering, and Scott did not take the grid. 49 car field, but what a race we've had. Amazing, amazing race as we get a few drivers in for a chat. We'll go firstly to Ross Rizzo. Congratulations on somehow stealing a P3. We didn't think you were going to make it home on field. Talk us through.
I don't know where to start on that one. I mean, I was in the fence on lap 1, but thankfully you can get back on strategy fairly easily with the competition caution. So I knew it was coming at some point, just made sure I was ready to go when it happened. And, you know, lo and behold, I'm up in P3 just by putting around and doing my own thing.
It's a real race of attrition, that one tonight. We saw, obviously, Jordan Ross have issues on the last lap. We saw Joe Burkett end up upside down at one point. We saw a huge crash that you were involved in on lap 1, but there was a bigger crash behind you on lap 1. So it really shows that Bathurst can bite, and if you can just stay out of trouble, you can get a good result.
Well, if you're right in the thick of trouble, if you
it doesn't even matter, does it?
That's exactly it. You can
survive. We saw you there. You struggled a little bit at the start of qualifying, Ross. We checked you out at the start there. You're sitting back in P21 and moved your way up to 10th. And God, you've got to be happy to finish on the podium after a qualifying session like that.
Well, I got to confess, despite how good this week has been for Bathurst, I'm actually really hopeless at this track. I cannot hot lap it to save my life.
Keep it clean and consistent, mate. That's what you need to do to win races around here. And you've done it today.
Yeah, I can do that pretty well, but attacking the mountain, not a part of my repertoire. So had to rely on a bit of fuel saving, a lot of luck, and avoiding incidents and whatnot. And even then, you know, I still had all sides of the car banged up, racing in the top 5 for the last 10 laps or so. So that was so much fun.
Were you needing to save on fuel? What was your fuel situation? Because we weren't too sure. We thought that you stayed out there on track. You're the only car, I think, to stay out there on track when they all came into the pit lane. And what was your fuel situation at the end of the race?
I'm just checking my JRT now. I think I still had about half a lap left, so I was fine. The safety cars helped a lot. I saved before the safety car, during the safety car, and all that. And because I was so far behind on the pace lap, I was able to kind of take my time because there were cars behind me as well. So it was a fairly easy situation to manage.
There we go. So well done certainly from me. And you got any questions for Ross?
It ends off a pretty whirlwind week for you, obviously, with the Bathurst 1000 win. Another great result at Bathurst. So I'm guessing you're looking forward to coming back here later on in the season with you and Forzank and potentially maybe still another one.
Oh my God! Don't tempt fate.
There we go. You guys are good pairing together.
You've done very, very well in the endurance campaign. You've won 2 of the 3, so you guys have absolute form.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly something to ride some confidence. And after this week, I couldn't have asked for a better week. I've never enjoyed sim racing more than I have now, and you know, ever since I joined Trick, I've just been loving it every day, and it's just peaked this week. So, and it capped off with a fantastic race tonight. really exciting. I just had a look at the last lap then and just went, oh my goodness, I can't wait to watch this back. So, fantastic day, fantastic way to end off a week at Bathurst.
Congratulations, Ross. P3 tonight. We haven't got anyone else in interviews yet, but we do have a man that we did want to chat to.
I definitely want to speak to this man.
Another man that's had a whirlwind week, Dylan Shepherd. Firstly, how are you feeling after the weekend with picking up the win at the VSR Showdown?
Yeah, it's been incredible every day since. There's been the feedback over Facebook and everything coming from all the compliments from everywhere has been amazing. I think for both me and for the team that put it on, especially you guys as well, I think it's something we should all be proud of because, you look at all the videos going up around the place and it looks so professional the way everything's done. So, yeah, it's been a great week. And, yeah, it's good to jump in this and have a bit of fun tonight.
The V8 Supercar car that we don't really see you drive ever. I think the last time I saw you race this car would have been Bathurst 1000 last year.
I've never seen you race at this car.
What was the go with jumping in the V8 and secondly, doing a good job?
Well, I did do Imola 500, but you mustn't have noticed
Oh,
me. But
actually, you did. You did. I do remember that. I'm sorry.
No,
you
he wanted to come in and chat with us,
you drove
mate.
with James Duckworth in that one.
Yeah.
I do remember.
Yeah, that's it. Nah, yeah, look, I do rarely jump in the V8. It's not a car that I tend to get along with, but I think this new build, it's not too bad. I'm actually finding it quite comfortable to drive with. So, yeah, we picked up a new guy on the team during the week, Tyson McAvoy. Just thought I'd help him out and see how he was, and yeah, thought I'd just jump in and have a run, no pressure, and yeah, ended up having a really fun race.
So it turned into a pretty entertaining one. That battle that you're having at the end there, we were actually worried about you with fuel as well. Talk us through those last few laps, whether you were managing fuel, and then the guys behind being Williams, Thompson, and also Kyle Stokes.
Yeah, 100% was managing fuel. I think I crossed the line with 0.2 of a litre. I actually ran out by the time I got to turn 1. Yeah, I had a secret squirrel helping me in fuel numbers through the whole race, and we thought it was going to be close when we jumped so many people in the pit lane, and we thought, oh, we must have got this so close. But yeah, so hard managing, and yeah, just managed to keep it on track.
I reckon Dylan's team and Rizzo, they must be in chats, mate, with this fuel situation. But yeah, certainly well done on tonight's result, mate. That was certainly, I didn't expect you to finish up there, so yeah, well done from me.
Nah, I don't think any of us did, but as I said, it was just for a bit of fun, and that's what we ended up achieving. And I think I even had a couple other people to say it was a really fun race, so should be a series I need to jump in a bit more, because yeah, it seems to be really fun.
Congratulations on a really good result, and hopefully we'll see you back out in the car a little bit more as well. So good luck for, obviously as well, the Porsche Super Cup, and Porsche, a car that you probably love more than ever now after last weekend.
Yeah, that's it. You can't pull me away from my Porsches, but yeah, I'll see you guys around. Thanks for putting on another broadcast.
No worries, mate.
Just been talking to Brett Loxton. He's absolutely exhausted, so he won't be coming and joining us for a chat, but another awesome night of racing here on V8's Online, and the action doesn't stop with Sunday night, something really, really different for us, the Majors Japanese Grand Prix. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, there we go. The Majors Series, it's going leaps and bounds, really. It was certainly the first year for us taking on that one, and yeah, what a great series. You know, there is still entries for that, Jay?
Yeah, 100%. If you would like to get involved, there is still time. You do need to do practice in the official sessions and put in a qualifying time, but if you do that, you can take to the grid. If you head to pacificmajors.com, you can enter the race, the Japanese Grand Prix, this Sunday, and it should be a really, really cool race. And then, of course, next week as well, another big week here on V8's Line with iRacing official V8 Supercars on Monday at Alton Park. Wednesday night, we're also at Alton Park for the Porsche Super Cup. And next Friday night, round number 9, we head to Watkins Glen, a track that always turns on absolutely entertaining, exciting racing. I'm looking forward to that one next week in this series.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And also another thing to mention as well, on next Thursday, will be the second episode of our partnership with the guys at the Flat Chat podcast, be the debrief from the 2018 V8 Scops Bathurst 1000. I know these guys are putting a huge amount of effort into that, and I'm sure, as always, it's going to be hugely entertaining.
Be some interesting cameos throughout the show as well.
Certainly
I've heard a few things. It's going to be good fun, and make sure you do check that out on Thursday night. A big few weeks coming up here on V8's Online. Some big announcements coming up in the next few days, weeks, and months as well. So make sure you do head to our Facebook page at facebook.com/V8's Online to keep up to date with everything going on in the V8's Online and AusNZ sim racing community. Also on Twitter at V8's Online. Fonty, thank you very much for jumping in with me tonight. Be my last one for a couple of weeks. It's going to be good fun watching from the sidelines for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, there we go. So, no, it's been a great event. It's a bit different for me. Normally, I've been sitting in the sunshine during an event like this, being based over the other side of the world, but back here in New Zealand for a little bit, and it's good to be back here and calling races with you, mate. Yeah,
it's good fun, and I'm looking forward to watching from the sidelines for a couple of weeks. So thanks for jumping in and helping me out, as I have a little bit of a rest. I think I probably have deserved one, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. But you have a rest, mate. You have a rest because you come back and we'll go even harder. So,
yep,
no, you deserve it. And, tune into V8's Online. I'll be directing. And, it should be a bit of fun.
Yeah, it should be. So make sure you do Stay with us here on V8 on Sunday night. We will be live once again for the Japanese Grand Prix in the major series. But until our next broadcast then, we thank you for tuning in. Big thank you to the sponsors behind the scenes. We've got Hazard Media, also LeBlanc, West End Mazda, and TTL Driver Academy. Until next time, it's bye for now.